Webale kulaba KKTV Uganda. Get informed and updated on issues around you and the globe as well. KKTV. Thank you for subscribing to KKTV. Webale kulaba KKTV Uganda. The inspiration and the best broadcasting around town. KKTV. The global experience, the might, the power, and all you need with KKTV. We are your broadcasting experience.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yenze Haji Aruno omusomi w'edduwa asangibwe Bulumagi ku luguudo lw'Ejjinja kola ku bintu ebyenjawulo ng'emuli endwadde zitawaanya abantu aba bulijjo kola kwa
Hello everybody, how are you? Welcome to this very special night. It continues now with the Q&A with our filmmakers and the subjects of the film. Please join me in welcoming the directors, Christopher Sharp and Moses Bwayo. And we have with us our very special guests, Barbie Kyagulanyi and Barbie Wine. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Kerry. I'm the documentary editor at Deadline.com. Bobby, let me turn to you first. Can you tell us how you made that transition and why you made the transition from being a pop star who sang about themes that pop stars usually sing about around the world, and then you became political? Why? Why did that happen?
Why? I don't know. Yeah, I think the transition was as a result of growth and reality. I didn't choose it. It was just a transformation of life. And maybe that's where destiny wanted me to go. Yeah.
Barbie, what did you think when Bobby wanted to become an overtly political figure? Because, of course, in doing that, he's risking his life.
Just like I said in the movie, Bobby is very unpredictable. You can't know what he will be tomorrow. So I never get to think about anything when Bobby chooses to do anything. It's never about me. It's always about the people. And I am among the people. So yes, we the people want Bobby went to do what he has to do for us.
And Bob, you told me about a really important experience you had when you were about age 25. You were already a very successful pop star. You went to a club, thought you were going to have a good time. You showed up in a vehicle that's attracted the attention of somebody who was rather envious of you, and that was sort of a turning point for you.
Well, like I said, it was growth. Initially, I was an artist, a pop star, a young ghetto guy that just made it and celebrating life. I had done my part. I was feeling like you know, I had done my part. However, most of my friends, most of my relatives would never be able to live the way I was living. And until that fateful day when I was beaten up in a nightclub and realized that I was not as safe as I thought I was, I decided that I would use my music to communicate and stand for those that are less privileged. And, you know, the rest is history. That's how I turned out.
Christopher, you met Bobby and Barbie initially in Europe and started on this project a number of years ago and shot an incredible number of hours of films. My understanding is that the original cut was 6 hours long. How did you contain it to put it as
well? We started filming 6 years ago, and we had a huge amount. I think we had something like 4,000 hours of footage. We spent 2 years in the cutting room, and there were so many different stories we could have told, and there's many people who are not in the film who deserve to be in the film. But what we ended up doing is focusing on Bobby and Barbie and those close to them, because we felt that through them we felt the pain of the people of Uganda best, and they were best able to demonstrate the story, and it really resonated with them, so we ended up thinking that was the best way of doing it.
Moses, how would you describe being at a Bobby Wine rally and what that is like? I mean, we get some sense from the footage, of course, but it's got to be something extraordinary to be in the middle of that.
Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out tonight. We really appreciate you. This moment is really gratifying, and it's really the power of God that we are here today to celebrate this film. As we are here tonight, there's many people who have followed Bobby, people who have been close to the movement, people who have died. There's people who are missing. There's people whom we don't know where they are. John Bosco Chibarama, and many other political prisoners who are still in jails today. And it's an honor to be here tonight to share this story. Being in those political spaces, I would say, was in the beginning, you know, I was very inspired by Bobby Wine and Barbie and the work they were doing. And Bobby was speaking to my heart in his music and through his messages. And, you know, I became part of the movement myself, you know. And being in those spaces was just, you know, seeing the hope in the faces of those old women and those men and young children. And like you see in one of the shots, there's this pregnant woman just walking by where bullets were going up all around, and it's just incredible seeing the hope, you know, the hope, the resilience that you know, Ugandans had, and you could see it in the faces of the people, you know, them looking up and seeing how Bobby was, he had stepped up to lead this movement that was kind of waiting, you know, and when Bobby stepped up to lead, to hold that mantle, the Ugandans saw a leader in him, and that's why you see all this mammoth crowds, you know, following him. Yeah, thank you.
Bobby, you were about 4 years old when U.S.A came to power, so basically your entire life he's been the president of the country. What is it going to take for change truly to come to Uganda? Is it possible?
Now those are two questions. What is it going to take? Is it possible? It's going to take a lot more than we have. But I know the first thing it will take is the hope. And I'm glad to report that the hope is there in abundance. We might not have the rest yet, but we have the hope. So we have the beginning point. Is it going to be possible? Definitely yes. Whether it's going to be possible now or tomorrow or during my lifetime, I don't know, but I know it's going to be possible. That's why we don't stop.
Barbie, were you ever surprised at the political support that Bobby attracted seemingly right away? I mean, and we have seen some examples, for instance, in Haiti with Sweet Mickey, where a performer became president of Haiti. Ruben Blades, for instance, ran for president. In Panama, it's still not an obvious transition to go from popular music into that position, but did it surprise you at all to see him attract such broad support really right away, it seems?
I am a Bobi Wine fan. And we Bobi Wine fans just go where Bobi Wine goes. So seeing crowds of people following him was no surprise at all. What surprised me is that we were now seeing a different face and a different voice. We were seeing a Kyagulanyi, not a Bobi Wine. The person who spoke what they had lived and who spoke from experience. And he was young, and he spoke the language of the young, which is more than half the number of the population of Uganda. So having someone speak like us and speak for us was something we had waited for so long. So the numbers were available, and we are blessed to have that voice. We hope that even the older people will see it. Of course, we know they have seen it, but we hope that the ones who sit in those chairs will just realize that it's time out for them, and they'll leave it for the young people to take it on.
Christopher and Moses, I'm sure one of the challenges as filmmakers is that you're going to have in your mind is how do we make the story universal such that audiences around the world, and certainly in the United States, will connect with it. And I think a lot of people will connect with it as a love story. In one sense, a love story between a man and his country, but of course a love story between Bobby and Barbie, which is deeply touching.
Yeah, I think that's really true. I mean, the other thing we had at our disposal was the music, which made a massive difference. And we tried to use the music as much as possible to tell the story, to make it really relevant. And again, I mean, we've got the children here as well. Would they like to stand up? Yeah, so it was, just having such an incredible, wonderful family, and it just made it all the more human. Here they are.
They got them very big. Either be for Bobby or Moses or really anyone on the stage, but there's an important element to this. Welcome. Stay if you want to stay. You're beautiful. But then you have to do what Dad says. We have time for a quick final question before we have something very special coming up. But I do want to mention that if you go to the whitehouse.gov website, you will see that the United States sends $1 billion approximately per year to Uganda, which winds up in the hands of the military, maybe some economic aid. So we can't ignore that element of the story. Bobby, anything you want to say about that before we go to a performance?
Sure. I would definitely like to say about that, but maybe before I answer that question, I would like to mention that I am not the hero of the struggle that you've seen in the film, and neither is my wife. No, the true heroes are the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions that you saw there, the unknown, the unnamed men and women. Many of them, I saw many people in that film that are not alive today. Many of them are in their graves. Many of them are missing. They disappeared, never to be seen again. Many of them are in exile. I actually saw some of them present here today. They ran away from home. And very many of them are in prison up to today, and their biggest crime is supporting me. So to see that I'm here, it's a big privilege. I would like to say they are the real heroes, and we continue to represent them at every platform, everywhere we go in the world. Now, thank you. Now, talking about the $1 billion donation that comes to Uganda, to General Museveni every year, that is part of the international aid that General Museveni receives in terms of military aid and otherwise, that he instead uses to oppress and suppress the people of Uganda. It's very important for us, for the U.S. citizens, to watch this, for the international community, the EU citizens, to watch this so that they can see the suffering that the people of Uganda are facing, and so that they can know that they are actually paying for it. It is the American taxpayer that is sponsoring the murder, the death, and the genocide of our people. We've claimed so much, we've requested so much, and we continue to request to the U.S. government, if you cannot help us, at least don't sponsor our oppressor. Also to the U.S. citizens of the world, we request you, at least you're powerful enough to hold your leaders accountable. Please ask them to realign their priorities. We absolutely appreciate the collaboration that we have, but let that collaboration be in terms of democracy, respect for human rights, and respect for the rule of law. You can hold
Thank you. Let's give a great round of applause to Barbie Kyagulanyi. This is not resting here. We have a great special performance coming up. There's a couple minutes to reset, and we're back.
Webale kulaba KKTV Uganda. Get informed and updated on issues around you and the globe as well. KKTV.